welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome. My name is Cassie and I do make videos every single week. I do a little bit of makeup and hair, lifestyle, fashion, and now mommy to be videos, and also I guess mommy slash family videos to come as well. If you guys are finding me through this video, I did make a baby announcement video, so if you guys want to check that out, it'll be right on top or at the end of this video. But today I will be sharing with you guys something very personal. My dog's drinking water. But today I'm going to get personal and dive into the story of how I found out I was pregnant. We're going to rewind back to January, at the beginning of January. So I have an irregular cycle, and so we'll be talking about periods and stuff, so I'm sorry if there's any guy viewers on here, but we all know us women go through this. So we're going back to January, at the beginning of the year. Honestly, I had no clue, and that's what I tell people all the time. I didn't even know. I had no idea. So in the middle of January, I was thinking, when did I last get my cycle? Like, I just couldn't think of when was the last time I got my period. So I think I even went through my calendar and through pictures, okay, to try and remind myself, like, when did it happen? So going back to December, I did get my cycle around like the 16th, 17th, but I do remember having it during like Christmas time or leading up to Christmas, because I remember taking pictures and being like, oh my gosh, do I look fat? Do I look bloated? Because, you know, it's Christmas pictures and I didn't want to look bloated. And I also had like a little Christmas photo shoot at my house, and I clearly recall just being like, if I look bloated, I'm on my period. And I was like, okay, I think I'll start worrying once January 26th comes around, because I know for a fact right after Christmas or the day of Christmas it completely went away, but I was still a little bloated. So I was like, oh, maybe it'll come at the end of the month. I want to say it was on a Saturday at the end of the month. I didn't even think about it, okay? My family bought Chinese food. We've been going to this place for years. We're familiar with their food or whatever, and I've never gotten sick. And I always share my food with everyone, and this time me and my sister were sharing the same plate. So it was a Saturday, and I think, no, it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday, guys. So it was a Sunday, my dad brought Chinese food, I was sharing with my sister, and later that night, I did go to church that night, and I don't know why, I felt so weird and uncomfortable inside. I was like, is the food kind of upsetting my stomach? Why do I feel like throwing up? And I think just the word that they delivered that night made me cry. I couldn't understand why I was feeling emotional that day, or why what they talked about or the word they gave for the day seriously just touched my heart. And the craziest part is that they were talking about how, you know, God chooses us since we are in the womb. There's a song, a Christian song that I love, and it does say that, and I remember I started crying. I ended up leaving church early that night because I just didn't feel good. So came home later that night. I was drinking Sprite and 7-Up because I was just not having it. I was like, I think I got food poisoning, and I didn't even finish the food. I asked my sister and everyone how they were feeling, and they told me they were feeling fine. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just me, because it's happened previously where I get sick and nobody else gets sick. I have more of a sensitive stomach also, so didn't think much about it. The next day I woke up. It was a Monday. I think I had to go to work that day. My mom was going to school at the time, so I went to her room and I was like, Mom, I really don't feel good and I don't want to go to the doctor. That's my dog. And I really don't feel like going to the doctor or the hospital. Like, I don't want to go. And I was like, my stomach just hurts so bad. I feel so bloated and disgusting. And out of everything she can tell me, but she would always say this to me, so it wasn't really like a big surprise. She was like, you're pregnant. And I was like, I'm not pregnant. How dare you tell me I'm pregnant when I don't feel good? I'm bloated. Don't you see I don't feel good? So I kind of lashed back at her in defense that it kind of offended me that she was either calling me fat or something. I don't know about you guys, but you know, when something doesn't land well in your stomach, you do feel bloated and you look bloated the next day. And she was like, no, like, how is it that you're the only one who got sick and nobody else got sick? We've been eating here for years and it so happens that you get sick this time. I'm like, I don't know, maybe there's something in the food, maybe I got a bug. I'm like, Mom, like, there's so many things that could happen, like, I can't be pregnant. And she was like, okay. Let me just tell you guys, mothers are right. Like, just listen to your moms because it's crazy. I was late about a week or a couple of days actually. So I guess if you want to start it from the beginning of my period, then yeah, I was like a week late. And I was like, no, like, we still have a couple more days of the month, and usually that happens where I'll get it the last day of the month. And I think right after that, I was drinking so much Sprite and 7-Up, lemon water, saltine crackers. I had my dad buy me Pedialyte and just everything possible because I couldn't hold food down. And I did go to work later that day and I was feeling disgusting. Thankfully I didn't throw up, but the nausea was just there for like 3 days because of the food. Let me just tell you guys, up until now I cannot have Chinese food, I cannot think of Chinese food, I can't smell it because I will probably throw up. A day or two go by, and of course the food didn't land well in my stomach, and I was having a lot of problems in the restroom, if you know what I mean. And it was disgusting. It felt like hell. I believe it was either a Wednesday or a Thursday, and my stomach was just still killing me. And I can't exactly remember the dates, but I remember I came home from either picking up my sister, doing something. One of my friends was at my house. We were chit-chatting, and my mom, this is funny, she was supposed to go to Target to do who knows what, but this lady, okay guys, my mom is involved in this story, and I think that's what makes it so funny because it's not something you hear often, or it's very weird. Take in mind my mom is Mexican, just kind of old school, but at the same time I don't like to say she is because she's super cool with a lot of things that I know most parents wouldn't be. But instead of going to Target, this lady went to go get me a pregnancy test. I had no idea. So then I think I got home and she was like, look what I got you. And I was like, what? She's like, look, it's a damn pregnancy test. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not pregnant. What are you doing? So she was like, no, you're pregnant. I know you are. And the funny thing is that I think that morning, she kind of sneakily asked me, because I woke up from my room, went to her room to lay down with my dog, and I fell asleep again. And she was like, why are you so tired? I feel like you're always sleeping and you don't feel good, blah, blah, blah. So she was just throwing things at me. And then she asked me like, hey, have you gotten your period? And it was just kind of out of the blue. And then I don't know why I would respond with, no, but I'm probably gonna get it towards the end of the month because my cycle is random. She was like, oh, okay. And I was like, why? And she was like, oh, we usually get our period around the same time, and since you haven't gotten it, I just figured, I mean, she said, since I haven't gotten it, I was asking if maybe you already got it, or maybe I'm just missing mine this month. And I was like, no, but it's probably gonna come. She's like, oh, are you sure you're not pregnant? Once again. And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. So at this point, I'm like, damn, dude, like, am I pregnant? I don't know. And I don't know what more I needed other than my period being this late. I do remember the week that I was supposed to get my period. Going to the restroom was so painful, and I thought, oh, it's maybe just a UTI. I wasn't hydrating properly. Now that I'm thinking back, I wasn't hydrating properly, and I think all of that just, you know, along with the little human being formed, was sucking the life out of me. And I do remember being a little more tired than usual, and I couldn't understand why. But I felt like I was gonna get, you know, my cycle. Like within that week, I felt bloated, I felt gross, the typical period symptoms. I get it pretty bad, by the way. So I experienced it all. I was experiencing a little bit of spotting, but I couldn't really tell. And so finally, that day comes, my mom's like, oh, that day comes, and my mom's like, oh, there's a pregnancy test, you need to take it, blah, blah, blah. And I sat there and I denied like there was no tomorrow. Fast forward, she got me the pregnancy test, and my friend was over, and my mom was supposed to go to school, and I was kind of purposely lagging so that I wouldn't have to do it. And if I did it, then I would do it on my own and tell her on my own time. And she was supposed to leave and I just couldn't hold it. I had to use the bathroom so bad that I ran to the restroom, and I remember this clearly because take in mind, the food didn't go good in my stomach or didn't land well in my stomach, so I was constantly using the bathroom. And I just couldn't hold it. So she ran because she was about to leave, and I was like, perfect, I can go use the restroom now. Without her bugging me, she literally dropped her stuff and she ran to the restroom, and she was like, I don't care where you pee, but pee in a little bucket or something so that I, you know, so I could do the test for you. I'm sorry, did she really just say, give me your pee so I can do it for you? I was just like, Mom, you're insane. I'm not gonna do it. I was sitting on the toilet, just holding it in like, no, I'm not going to. And I was like, you know what, fine. She was like, yeah, well, if you have nothing to hide, then you'll let me. And I'm like, fine, here. So then, you know, I put in a little bucket. She did the little droplets. And I was like, Mom, like, it's gonna come out negative. She was like, no, it's not. You're pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then, me trying to be slick still, I just didn't want to face her, honestly, but still didn't know, still wasn't sure. But I didn't want to face her because it was just awkward. I told her, like, I'll send you the results because you have to go to school. She's like, no, it'll tell me in 60 seconds. And if not, then I'll sit here and wait, and I don't care if I have to miss school. My mom never misses school, by the way. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why can't she just leave? Why can't she just leave me alone? What if I knew and I didn't want to tell her? You know, like, respect my privacy. But I really didn't know. So, sure enough, like, those 60 seconds just felt like it was the longest minute of my entire life. And, oh, I think I'm gonna start crying. Oh, guys. I didn't think I was gonna start crying. I'm sorry. Oh goodness, I didn't think I was gonna cry. I've told this story so many times. I was texting my boyfriend and I was on the toilet and I was like, it's happening, like, you know, 60 seconds and we'll know. And then I didn't even want to look. My mom was literally like standing there. Just picture the toilet and there's like a little bar area right here. People usually hang out in my bathroom, by the way, but oh, I hate crying. She was literally standing there like, you're pregnant, but without the test, you know, saying yet. And then sure enough, like, that minute felt like forever. And you just see, like, I guess the pee running. It was a little stick, by the way. And if it was 2 lines, then you're pregnant. And if it was just 1, then you're not. When I saw the pee just running, I saw 1 line and I was like, you see, I'm not pregnant. She was like, no, we still got a couple of seconds to go. And I kind of turned away, texted my boyfriend, you know, we're doing the test, and he was like, you'll be okay, it's okay. And you just see the other little line come up like this. And she started screaming with excitement, and I was like, wait, does that mean I'm pregnant? She was like, I told you, no que no. I thought it was a no, I thought it was impossible. And I was like, there's no way, Mom, like, I can't be, like, how? She looks at me and she's like, really, mija? What do you mean how? And I was like, I know, but like, there's just no way. And she was like, and you were sitting there lying, saying, no, it's impossible, blah, blah, blah. And then I still throw it at her. I was like, what if it's an infection? What if it's not real? She's like, are you stupid? This is not gonna detect if you have an infection, you know? And I'm like, well, it's because, you know, my pee has been hurting when I pee. And she was like, no, like, you're pregnant. She literally just, she was so happy. She left to school, and I was like, kind of feeling like, dude, she's so mad. She's gonna be upset. She's gonna be disappointed. I'm just blaming my pregnancy on these tears. I literally sat there like, there's just no way. I couldn't believe it, honestly. So I think I made an appointment. My priority was just to go to a doctor and, you know, find out if it was true or not. because sometimes I just feel like you can't really rely on pregnancy tests, and I was scared of getting a fake positive, but I read it was very rare to get a fake positive. Not just that, but I just couldn't believe it, and I wanted to be sure. February 1st was the day I went. Sure enough, they told me, you're pregnant. Congratulations. They were just kind of asking like, was this planned? Was it a surprise? A lot of people were thinking that we planned it for some reason, but honestly we were planning on getting married and then having kids. But you know, the blessing came a little early, a little earlier than we expected, but God's timing is always the best timing, and that was something I wasn't gonna go against. I would never make any other option other than keeping my child, and that was something that I had said since the beginning. That's the way I grew up, that's the way I was raised, and that's the day my life changed. So February 1st was the official day where they told me, you know, you're pregnant, congratulations, whatever. I called my boyfriend and I was like, I don't even know if I was crying or not, or I think I was taking it a little better than he thought. And you know, in that moment you feel so alone. I need to get myself together, because then I feel like I'm gonna make you guys cry because I'm crying. In that moment I felt so alone and kind of like I didn't know who to go to. That day I came, and my dad kind of already knew what was going on, but he didn't officially hear it from me until that day. Oh, dude, I need to stop crying. My dad kind of knew what was going on, but he didn't really know. He was just kind of like, you know, whatever happens, happens. Like it was bound to happen someday, regardless of the circumstances, the situation, whatever. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4 years, so it's been quite some time. But of course we were hoping to get married before having babies. When I brought home the paper and I showed it to my mom, she was like, what more else do you want to, you know, prove to you that you're pregnant? And I was like, I don't know, Mom. Like it's one of those things where it just kind of hits you in the face, like a train just came at you 1,000 miles per hour. And you know, I told my dad, I showed him the paper, and his eyes got teary and he gave me a hug. I think my boyfriend was here already too, and he was like, I'm gonna be a grandpa, oh my gosh. He was really happy, so that support meant everything to us. So overall, the reactions we received from my parents was everything we needed. It relieved me to see the amount of support we were receiving from my parents, because they were the first people to know. Of course, it wasn't planned for me to let them know that quick. I had like this whole cute pregnancy announcement for when the day came, but a mother knows, and especially when you live with your mom, it's kind of impossible to hide things from you. You know, that day my boyfriend came and we were all just hanging out, we had food, whatever, and of course the morning sickness started. Went to the doctor's office once again, yay, you're pregnant, but they hit me with the, you have a UTI as well, and I knew it already because, you know, you do feel those symptoms. But it had a lot to do with my hydration, and so much blood was taken out, and that was one of my biggest fears. Still is, you guys. Like, I still have to go in for a blood drawing, but so much blood gets taken out, and I had a UTI at the beginning of my pregnancy, and honestly I think that's the worst nausea I've ever experienced, because they did have me on antibiotics for 7 days, which were the worst 7 days of my pregnancy. And I know it's the antibiotics and not anything else like my pregnancy, like my doctor was telling me, because I was feeling okay before that. I was waking up early, and like I would have to eat salty crackers, water with lemon, or lemon water. And it was just kind of a routine that I had for myself to avoid throwing up, because that's one of my biggest fears. But I will be covering a little bit more of that on my first trimester video, which I will be filming. That's pretty much how I found out I was pregnant, guys, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this story. It was a little bit more emotional than I thought it was going to be, and a little longer than I thought it was going to be as well. I will have my first trimester recap along with the amount of support we've been receiving from our family and friends, and especially our parents, which meant everything to us. And all of that. But if you guys would like to see a little bit more, I have been vlogging and sharing my experience with you guys, so I will have those videos at the end of this video. I'm currently at 22 weeks or 21. I'm at 22 weeks, and when I found out, I was about 6 or 7 weeks pregnant, something like that. So that was back in February. time's flying by. That much I can tell you guys. Time is flying by, and I just can't believe it hasn't even been a month since we've publicly announced about our pregnancy, but I'm so excited to be sharing the story with you guys. And if any of you guys can relate to it, or you know, anything, please let me know in the comments down below how you guys found out you were pregnant. This year it's a crazy year, a lot of blessings happening in people's lives, and it's a good year. Honestly, my life changed and did like a 180, and I'm so thankful and grateful, and I couldn't think of a better timing for this to happen. Of course, it just didn't occur within my timing. I thought when my day came, it would be a hard time for me because I do get cysts in my ovaries and stuff like that, but I'm so thankful that given the blessing to be able to carry my own child. But that pretty much wraps up my story. I'll get a little bit more in depth about things like this in my first trimester video, prenatals, things like that I'm taking, what I did to survive my first trimester. And I feel like some people get it bad, all 9 months, 10 months, but so far I've been one of the lucky ones, thankfully. So thank you guys for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Click on the subscribe button so you guys can become a part of the family. And this is probably the most emotional, vulnerable video I've ever done in my entire life, so hence the tears. So thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.